All right, so are you ready to go deep on this one?
Always ready to dive in.
Okay, good, because we're heading into some pretty mind-bending territory.
Son.
Oh, it is. We're
Right.
talking cryptids, otherworldly beings, all that good stuff.
All right. I'm intrigued.
But here's the thing. Our source material isn't your typical, dusty old book or grainy internet video.
Oh, so what is it?
We're tapping into indigenous knowledge this time.
Really?
Yeah, specifically from a tribe in the Amazon rainforest.
Wow. Okay, you've definitely got my attention.
It's amazing what these cultures have observed and passed down for centuries.
It really is. There's so much we can learn from these different perspectives.
Absolutely. And trust me, this source material is a total goldmine.
So, Bill, what kind of tales are we talking about here?
Well, just to give you a taste, imagine an anaconda so massive, its body is like the thickness of a 200-liter drum.
Whoa, hold on. That's not just a big snake. That's practically a mythical beast.
Right, it's huge. And the tribe definitely sees it as a kind of local legend.
More of a fantastical tale, then.
Yeah, you'd think so. But here's the thing. They claim to have encountered these enormous snakes in real life.
No way.
Yeah, and they even say the rumbling sounds these anacondas make can predict the weather.
Wow. That's fascinating how they blend mythology with practical knowledge.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, there's more.
We've also got a giant crocodile in the mix.
A giant anaconda and a giant crocodile. This is wild.
I told you this one's intense. So this crocodile is a serious predator hunting capybaras, deer, even stray dogs.
Yikes. I wouldn't want to cross paths with that thing.
Yeah, they say it doesn't actively hunt humans, but
There's always a but.
exactly. Let's just say I wouldn't want to be caught swimming with it on an empty stomach.
Makes sense.
Oh.
And what else is lurking in these Amazonian stories?
Well, we can't forget the jaguar that evokes a mix of fear and reverence from the tribe.
Understandable, considering jaguars are apex predators in that environment.
Oh, definitely. They say encountering a jaguar is incredibly rare, almost like a spiritual event.
Interesting. So they don't just fear it, they revere it, too.
Exactly. They believe these jaguars inhabit this remote, deserted region, almost like a sacred sanctuary.
I wonder if that ties in their beliefs about other realms or entities.
That's a great point, because now we're getting to the part that really blew my mind.
Lay it on me.
The tribe's encounters with beings from other worlds.
Wait, are we talking aliens?
You could say that they were shown pictures from a book called Aliens Among Us, and get this, they recognized some of the beings.
Seriously, which ones?
One they called Mancunawabu, a being that lives underground and was once human-like, but now exists as a large ant.
A human turned giant ant. Okay, now I'm really hooked. What's the story there?
They explain that Mancunawabu's people were wiped out by other more hostile tribes, forcing them to transform into ants to survive.
Wow, that's both tragic and fascinating. How they connect their history to these beings.
It really highlights how different cultures might perceive and interpret the same phenomena.
We might call it alien, but they see it through a lens shaped by their own history and mythology.
Exactly. And it makes you think about all the different ways humans try to make sense of the unknown.
Absolutely. It's not about simply believing or not believing. It's about understanding those different frameworks.
And the story doesn't end there. They also recognized another being, Nainawayuchibu, described as spirits of deceased humans wandering the world.
So less extraterrestrial, more spiritual or supernatural.
Yeah, but here's what's fascinating. They claim to connect with these beings on a spiritual plane through their traditional medicine practices.
That suggests a deep connection between the physical and spiritual realms, something we've maybe lost touch with.
For sure. And even though they don't use terms like alien, they clearly have a concept of entities beyond our world.
It's like the lines between natural, supernatural, extraterrestrial are all blurred together for them.
Now get ready for this next one. It's a wild one.
Hit me with it.
They also described Hanayutubu, water spirits, associated with large trees and medicinal plants like Canela de Vey or Xinghua.
Water spirits, trees, plants.
Okay.
This is getting more and more intriguing.
And they linked the appearance of these Hanayuchibu to the spirit of tobacco, suggesting a connection between realms through plants.
That's really thought-provoking. Aligns with indigenous beliefs about the interconnectedness of everything.
It challenges our Western tendency to separate the material and spiritual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what about those Syrians? They recognize them too, right?
Oh, yeah. They describe them as powerful animal beings. And get this, they connect the Syrians to their concept of Inaniyusibu, the enchanted jaguar.
Hold on. We started with the giant anaconda,
Yeah.
then talked about the real jaguar, and now these Syrians linked to a jaguar again.
You're getting it. Animals, especially powerful or mysterious ones, hold deep spiritual significance for them.
Yeah, that resonates with what we see in indigenous cultures worldwide ends. Animals as messengers guide spiritual embodiments.
It makes you wonder what other secrets and insights we might be missing by overlooking these knowledge systems.
And what can we learn from these different ways of seeing the world?
That's exactly what we're going to unpack as we dive deeper into this.
This is fascinating stuff. Let's keep going.
Stepping into a whole other reality.
It really is. And it challenges everything we think we know about reality.
Makes you wonder what else is out there, what we might be missing.
Right, like there are so many ways to experience the world. Look at animals.
Yeah, good point. Bats with echolocation, sharks sensing electrical fields.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And we're stuck with just our five senses.
Makes you wonder what we could be capable of.
Like maybe indigenous cultures have a better understanding.
Because they haven't dismissed these other ways of seeing the world.
Exactly. Maybe progress isn't just about technology.
Yeah, what if it's about expanding our consciousness, seeing beyond what's right in front of us?
That's a great point.
Hmm.
Makes you think about all the other cultures out there.
Have you come across any similar beliefs in your research?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all over the world.
Like what, for instance?
We'll take Native American tribes. Many of them have stories about skinwalkers.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those shape-shifting creatures, right?
Exactly. But their meaning can vary a lot depending on the tribe.
So it's not as simple as just saying skinwalkers are evil or whatever.
Right.
Right.
We need to look at the whole context, the culture, the traditions.
Understand their worldview.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the key here. It's not about proving or disproving anything.
It's about understanding how these beliefs fit into the bigger picture.
And that's what makes this so fascinating. It expands our understanding of human experience.
All the different ways we make sense of the world.
Exactly. And the universe and our place in it all.
You know, it's funny you mentioned expanding our consciousness earlier.
Yeah.
Because it makes me think about those who might have a stronger connection to that other realm.
You mean like shamans or medicine people?
Yeah, exactly. Could they actually be tapping into something real?
It's possible. Certain practices, meditation, plant medicines.
Like they're adjusting their senses to pick up on frequencies we normally miss?
Yeah, it's like we're trying to tune into a radio station, but our radio's on the wrong frequency.
And these otherworldly beings, these entities.
Could be existing on a frequency we just can't perceive.
So it's not that they're not there.
But that we're not equipped to see them.
Wow, that's kind of humbling.
It really is. To think that our reality might be just a tiny sliver of what's actually out there.
And maybe these stories, these indigenous accounts, they're not just folklore.
What if they're clues pointing us towards a deeper truth?
It makes you wonder.
It does. And that sense of wonder, that's what keeps us exploring, keeps us searching for answers.
I feel like we've barely scratched the surface.
Just a glimpse into another way of seeing things.
Totally. It's like we've been looking at this puzzle.
Trying to make it fit.
Yeah, but maybe we've got the wrong picture in mind.
The wrong frame of reference.
Exactly. Like, what if there's a completely different way to put it together?
And we just haven't seen it yet.
And indigenous cultures, maybe they hold the key.
They've been living in harmony with nature for so long.
Observing, listening, learning.
It's not just theory for them.
Right, it's woven into their everyday lives.
Ritual stories, healing practices.
A living knowledge system passed down for generations.
It makes you wonder about those stories of otherworldly beings.
Spirits, interdimensional entities.
What if it's not just fantasy?
Yeah, what if it's a glimpse into another dimension?
Like a hidden part of reality.
It's like those optical illusions. You can't see it until you shift your perspective.
We need new ways of seeing, new ways of knowing.
And maybe indigenous cultures have already figured some of that out.
With their altered states of consciousness, plant medicines, spiritual practices.
So where do we go from here? How do we bridge the gap?
Between science, spirituality, indigenous knowledge.
It feels like a huge chasm.
It starts with humility.
Listening, learning from those who see things differently.
Recognizing that there's not just one right way.
Multiple paths to truth.
And approaching these other systems with respect.
Not trying to exploit or appropriate.
A genuine dialogue. A sharing of perspectives.
Who knows what we could discover?
If we could weave together these different strands of knowledge.
It's mind-blowing to think about.
This deep dive, it's given me a lot to think about.
Me too. More questions than answers, I guess.
But sometimes that's the best place to start.
Asking the right questions, being open to new possibilities.
Never losing that sense of wonder.
Yeah, that's what keeps us going, keeps us exploring.
And to our listener out there, remember to keep questioning those assumptions.
Keep your mind open.
Your heart curious.
Your spirit adventurous. There's a whole world out there waiting to be discovered.